Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, John Katsilometes is here. He's the daily entertainment columnist for the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Here for the whole show about an all-new Nevada Newsmakers. Big R in Sparks is located on Bering Boulevard next to Smith's and across from Reed High School. It's a 50,000 square foot hardware store and a whole lot more. It's your spring headquarters with lawn and garden supplies, power equipment, and outdoor living. Big R on Bering Boulevard in Sparks next to Smith's and across from Reed High School. Big R, hardware, and a whole lot more.
Carson Valley Inn, it's your place for the good times. Carson Valley Inn.
Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we are delighted to welcome back in person to the program John Katsilometes. He is the daily entertainment columnist for the Las Vegas Review-Journal. How the heck do you stay up all these late nights and still show up here looking bright-eyed and bushy-tailed in the morning?
It's a facade, the last point. I get asked that a lot. It's probably the thing that people ask me most is when do I sleep and how do I get from around? And this week is a very good example. After the Vegas Golden Knights won the Stanley Cup Final over at T-Mobile Arena, I found myself at Omnia at their after party, Omnia nightclub at Caesar's Palace, until about 4 a.m.
And that was the second after party.
That was the second after party, yeah. I didn't make the first after party, which was at Aria at Jewel nightclub. That was more of just the team and the friends and family and some officials from MGM Resorts. This was wide open over at Omnia. And so it was the game. I got to the arena at about 1 o'clock to prepare. At about 2:30, I interviewed the Maloof brothers, who were minority investors.
That was a great story.
And exactly, because of them. We were literally huddled in their suite, the only people in the arena talking about the history of the Golden Knights. So that was 2:30. I wrote the column before the game started. And the column was written in a way that the Golden Knights was to win the game. If they didn't win the game, we probably would have held it or probably would have maneuvered it into some other way. Wrote another backup column that didn't run, and it's online. And then after the finish of the game, I was assigned and honored to be assigned to hand out the front page of the Review-Journal to everybody on the ice and everybody around. So I was, I got to Gary Bettman, and he said, who I've known over the years, and he goes, "Are you a paper boy now too?" And he posed with it. So and then I hustled over to Caesar's Palace. I walked from T-Mobile to Caesar's Palace and went to Golden Knights and was out until I got home at 4:30 in the morning and was back at it about 3 hours later.
Wow.
To write the column about Omnia.
Right.
So that doesn't answer the question, but that does illustrate some of the scheduling challenges I have. So I get enough rest when I need to. Yeah.
Do you have gym memberships?
I do.
I'm
looking forward to returning there. The last. Who are you again? But yeah, what can I say? I think the key to it really, Sam, is that I don't drink, I don't party at all. I gave up that a long time ago, and I think that keeps me at an advantage. It keeps me. I'm clear-headed. I'm focused. If I get tired, I'm naturally tired. I don't have anything dragging me down.
Right.
And that's important because I've walked out of a lot, including Tuesday night. I've walked out of a lot of places where people are just wrecked, you know, here in Las Vegas. And I think that's very important to me. That's important to keep my stamina up.
You know, it's funny. Years ago, back in the day, people won't believe this, but I was a nightclub disc jockey in London, where I was born and raised. And I worked at a very high-end nightclub that was all the kind of people that you deal with, models, movie stars, all that sort of thing. The owner of the club would never buy or accept a drink from anybody, and all he drank was Perrier water.
Fizzy water.
And yes.
Yes.
And so he was always totally sober from 9 o'clock at night when he showed up for dinner till 3 o'clock in the morning when he left. And he ran one of the most successful nightclubs that, by the way, is still in business 50 years later.
Holy cow, when was this? When were you there?
I was there from 72 to 74.
Wow.
Yeah. Now
Mystique.
Yes, yes. Well, that's a story for another day. But my point being, though, that being sober allows you a huge leg up on the people that indulge and therefore burn out at a much...
I had an interesting, well, I was having this conversation with Keith Urban, oddly enough, the other day. I was interviewing
Oh, you
Keith
name dropper.
Keith Urban and I. My friend Keith. He was, we set up this interview and I was talking to him on the phone, and he's been sober for 17 years almost. I think he's going on 17, he said. And, you know, we got into the conversation about how you receive behavior when you were a sober person, you know. And we got into this really interesting conversation about it. And he goes, he's told me, when I'm on stage, I don't judge anybody. I go, whatever you're into, I'm fine. If you're there to have the time of your life, go for it. Because I don't want people to think, he doesn't talk about his recovery that much because of this. I don't want people to think that I'm looking at them, judging them, you know, giving them, having a disparaging opinion about them. Go for it. Better you than me, you know. And I have that same thought in my world. I don't care, you know, anybody who wants to have a good time. I have the same tolerance level as anybody would.
Right.
I just can't perform when I'm, if I'm dragged down. You know, that's one thing. And I disqualify myself from drinking years ago anyway. But it's important to know that, because it is very important to how I'm able to sustain the productivity level that I have.
Well, it is an athletic career, to say the least.
Yeah,
Anybody who follows your column on a regular basis, of which literally millions of people do, it's astonishing. I want to go to the Maloofs here for a second, because, you know, they're minority owners in the team here, but their story, especially George's story with the Palms, and how it took that property, you know, at the time when they opened it, the Rio was the hot spot. It wasn't on the Strip, but it was the hot spot that everybody went to. It was setting the standard for cool. And then the Palms opened, and it blew the Rio away. And I don't think the Rio ever recovered.
Well, you know, it's interesting, because I remember that opening. Another hotel that was still kind of in that level, in that strata, was the Hard Rock. It was still a place to be. And I remember when the Palms opened, and Maloof had the red carpet event was a thing, with Paris Hilton wearing $1 million of chips on her dress, and it was the first big opening we had. I think first opening of any kind after 9/11 was the Palms. So there was that kind of tension. And I had a message. I think we were texting at that time, I think. Or there was some kind of message that came across from the Hard Rock that said you could fire a cannon through that place on the night that the Palms opened. Another one, I don't think they ever completely recovered from that night. You've mentioned two places that the Palms really had an effect on. Both those hotels, and then, you know, of course, the Hard Rock sold out to another ownership group with the Virgin brand, and the Rio's undergoing its own renovation and rebranding.
Now, the discussion at the beginning of the new Rio ownership was that Tony Marnell, the original architect, was going to be a part of that design committee, but that doesn't appear to have continued.
I don't think Marnell is at all involved. I'm not 100% sure about this, but I have not heard his name related to the current Rio lineup at all. No, there are some other Blackstone officials who are consultants, but not Tony.
And I was talking to the mayor of Henderson the other day about Marnell's purchase of property in Henderson, and they're going to build another hotel there. And I'm excited to see what that ends up being, because the M Resort was such a stunning property, and it was kind of, I don't know, it was kind of a signature to the Rio, saying, this is what you should be doing.
Yeah, well, they have a lot of homes in that area, a lot of rooftops in the region. And of course, as far as the M goes, they're the official locals casino of the Raiders, which helps them immensely, that branding. And that's a very refined resort. I immediately when I walked into the M the first time, I just thought it was like it reminded me a lot of Red Rock out in Summerlin. It felt like that, that scale, that kind of refinement, but for locals. And I think they do a great job. They have their great culinary program out there. They got great entertainment. They sell out that amphitheater, that pavilion they have all the time, and a great lounge. Mm-hmm.
Does it blow you away, because you've been covering entertainment and prior to that, being a reporter in this town, how much entertainment we have going on continuously, especially on the weekends, and the magnitude of it, from Resorts World to Caesars to Allegiant Stadium? I mean, it's mind-blowing how many tens of thousands of people are being entertained.
Yeah, it does. The short answer to the does it blow your mind question is absolutely, still does. I mean, I think of things that I do coincidentally that, I just mentioned, like, I talked to Keith Urban the other day, but that's like a big deal. I just saw yesterday, I saw Carrie Underwood show up for a little greet over at Resorts World. And those are commonplace occurrences in Las Vegas. But as far as the roster of headliners, if you look back to probably 2015-16, about all of the development we've had just since then, T-Mobile Arena has opened, Allegiant Stadium has opened and put us in an entire different category as far as touring stadium shows where we didn't have before. Resorts World opened with a world-class theater there, and at the time they had announced a roster that included Celine Dion was supposed to open that theater, and they still want her to come back. Underwood, Luke Bryan, Katy Perry, and now David Blaine, the superstar illusionist, just in that theater. Dolby Live opened at Park MGM after that, at about that time. That's Bruno Mars. That's Lady Gaga. It was originally called Park Theater.
Right.
Usher in there. Garth Brooks played a couple shows in there. The Who. So, when you start digging into who has appeared where, you start to realize that it's a staggering amount of high-level, world-class entertainment at the headliner level, and that's not mentioning the production shows, the Cirque du Soleils and the Spiegel Worlds, and some of the I call them the down ballot shows.
Right.
But we have to pay attention to them too, because that is the bedrock of Las Vegas, of those shows that are in residency, and we cover them as well.
Do you think Allegiant wasn't built big enough in terms of the entertainers, that they could have put another 10 or 15,000 seats in there?
I don't know. You could have made that argument. I don't think that footprint would have satisfied a bigger stadium. I think that they're pretty restricted with the territory that they have. But as far as demand, we have seen a couple of instances where performers could have easily doubled the Allegiant Stadium size. I'm thinking of BTS, the Korean K-pop band that came through here. A lot of people didn't even know who BTS was. They came in here and sold that place out 4 times on consecutive weekends, and sold out MGM Grand Garden Arena for 4 watch parties at 11,000 or so
Isn't that stunning?
Unbelievable demand. I was like, that's real. And then you have Taylor Swift came through here and played 2 shows. She could have sold it out, 9-10 times easily. Beyonce's coming through, same thing. The Stones sold it out. Not every act is going to, make that argument, but I think it's more of a frequency thing than a one-off total capacity thing. How many times can we fill Allegiant Stadium? But when I saw Taylor Swift, especially, I was thinking, Taylor Swift has never been interested in doing a residency run in Las Vegas. It's not her thing.
Right.
Why would you when you can do 70,000, everywhere across the country? But I said, if you could make an argument for the first ever stadium residency of that level, Taylor Swift would be my call. I would bring her in, and I'd say run her 16 times a year, like what they used to do with George Strait at T-Mobile Arena. He used to do about 16 dates a year there, and count the money. She could do it. And she could only do it at Allegiant.
I'm thinking that maybe one of the few others that could do something, and not even on that magnitude, but in the idea, Billy Joel at Madison Square Garden, where he did multiple dates and sold them all
The
out.
thing about Billy Joel, he did, he had an incredible run there. He didn't sell out Allegiant, and he didn't sell out T-Mobile. I think it was 2016 when he originally appeared here. I don't know why that was. It was probably because all of his fans. He's an East Coast person, New York guy, so all of his fans tend to be concentrated there. So I've heard about Billy Joel. I don't know if he would. I don't know if he could do something like for example, a stadium residency in Las Vegas as successfully as Madison Square Garden. But I'll tell you who's also in that conversation is Harry Styles from One Direction. He's done 25 sellouts at Madison Square Garden himself, and they're talking about him at the Sphere, which is a very interesting proposition, and I think that will be announced. I have a feeling that he'll be a Sphere headliner, and he's already shown he's a bankable artist at that level.
All right, let's go to the Sphere right after this timeout.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Retail's impact on Nevada's economy? Enormous. 8,600 businesses, large and small, employing 145,000 workers. And last fiscal year, retail paid tax on nearly $60 billion in sales. We're the Retail Association of Nevada. We support retail, we help it grow, and we mean business.
RANNV.org.
The casino industry drove Nevada's economy for decades. By the 1990s, however, the state's sole industry was in sharp decline. Many were losing their homes, many were leaving the state. Is Reno on track to be the Detroit of the West? Was an October 2010 Reno Gazette-Journal headline. Nevada knew it was time for a change and a time to diversify. Story County took that lead, took risks, invested tens of millions transforming its desert into a place of opportunity and a future for Nevada families needing something new. That desert now provides thousands of high-paying tech, advanced manufacturing, and energy careers at companies like Tesla, Panasonic, Google, Switch, and Redwood Materials. Story County transformed Northern Nevada forever, and the tide of opportunity has raised all vessels through construction contracts, high-paying careers, and the power of payroll. Tens of millions have been generated in sales and property tax, permits, and other revenues for Reno, Sparks, Washoe County, and for all of Nevada. Enough, in fact, to generate a surplus after public services are provided. And best of all, a sustainable economic climate has been created, enabling our children to stay in Nevada and live prosperous lives in their home state. Story County, improving Northern Nevada one industry at a time.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, coming to you from Las Vegas. We're here at the Ahern Hotel with John Katsilometes. He is the daily entertainment columnist for the Las Vegas Review-Journal, which is really, let's face it, it's the number one thing that everybody looks at in the paper first thing. There is no doubt about it.
In the print, I get that a lot for the print edition. I always say if you're a print subscriber, if there's a heaven, you're going there. But yeah, the people like to flip it over. And a lot of it, too, Sam, is I think that there's so much negative energy in the world,
right.
And there's so much, they go there to get off that. I think they go there in print and online to just see what else is to be said that isn't some sort of contentious recitation of the daily politics or daily issues. And
I couldn't agree with you more.
I get that a lot, too.
Okay, so when we flew in this weekend, the Sphere is so complete at this point that it is unbelievable just to see it from the air. This thing is a monster. What, 17,000?
17.5.
Yeah.
Seated, yeah.
And tell us about the acoustics, the number of speakers, the visuals.
Well, they have to pare it down, they have an audio system that is as if you take laser light, you can create laser sound with that. So you can hear things in a 360-degree way that isn't just speakers blowing sound at you. So you'll be, you can hear a whisper, you can hear leaves, shaking, you can hear the wind, maybe feel the wind, as it comes through. That's the multiple sensory experience. There's a show called Postcard from Earth. It's going to be the anchor production of the Sphere. It's going to run multiple times a day. It opens in October, and it's going to take in all that. It's going to be an atmospheric show. You're going to be able to see all around you, like in real life. Look around, and you're going to experience a real life sensation as advertised in the Sphere. Now, I haven't been in it in a while, but I'm going off of what I know about it. The visuals are, it's got the most specific LED resolution known to man. And the shows that come in there are to be built specifically for the Sphere technology. Now we have U2 announced, the band U2. This is not a tour stop destination. U2 is building a show that is mostly about the album Achtung Baby, which is 30th anniversary was in 1991. It was released, and it was supposed to open as part of that anniversary, and then got delayed for COVID. But that's the experience you're going to have. U2 is building a production that's multimedia, multisensory, only for Las Vegas, and this is going to be their resident home through the end of the year, and maybe beyond. The way they're selling, they could continue on into 2024. That is, this is not a place where somebody like Ed Sheeran is going to bring his tour stop, or even Taylor Swift isn't going to come in here, play this venue for a weekend, and go off to Sophie Stadium or go off to Glendale, Arizona. It's for this. So that makes a very exclusive list of performers who can produce this, sell tickets enough to make it worthwhile, and fill dates. So, it's a big fly effort. It's a very ambitious and imaginative, risky venture.
Well, I was going to say, doesn't this put Madison Square Garden on the line? That this has to fly for that company to succeed?
Well, I think
it's more expensive than Allegiant Stadium.
Yes, true. It's $2.2 billion now.
60-odd thousand versus 17.5.
Well, and its activation will be more frequent than Allegiant Stadium.
That's true.
They'll be bringing in, like the Postcard from Earth show will seat 10,500, I think, per show, and 2 shows a day during the week and 4 on Sunday. Do the math, and then you have U2 playing on weekends. They're going to be running at 17.5, and the number of tickets sold there will be on parity without doing the straight math as Allegiant Stadium. What to say? I think that Madison Square Garden and James Dolan, who runs that company, are taking a calculated risk. They're going to have this is something you can only see in Las Vegas. They love the word exclusivity. You can only see it here. This is their pitch. And they think that the postcard show and their rotation of headliners, we're probably going to see 3 or 4 more announced, I would hope by, within the year. That will help pay the bills. Now, if it doesn't, somebody's going to be, getting a venue at a pretty good price if it were to come to that. But one thing about the Sphere too, when U2 went on sale, we found this out, is that the lower level seats, some of the overhang from the level above blocked the view above them, and that was detected and disclosed late in the process, so that they had to adjust to that. That wasn't a great moment for the Sphere. When you're talking about the atmosphere being all over seamless, and then all of a sudden you have an overhang, it wouldn't matter in a normal theater, but in this place, it does.
Yeah.
So.
All right, let's take another quick break and we'll be right back.
Early in the morning or throughout the night, professional truck drivers are on the job, serving you, safely moving freight that's crucial to our economy. From the oldest industries to our newest innovators, from the exotic to the everyday. Trucks are everywhere, moving everything. Never afraid to embrace a future that makes Nevada and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
For 50 years, Nevada Heating has been keeping people comfortable in their homes. At Nevada Heating, call the Do It Right guys and get the air conditioning back on today. That's the Nevada Heating way. Why sweat for days on end when Nevada Heating can get your air conditioning fixed today? Call us today and we'll fix it today at 323-5585 or schedule us on our website at nevadaheating.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation, but not for very long, with John Katsilometes. He's the daily entertainment columnist for the Las Vegas Review-Journal. One of the things I really like about what you do with your columns is you promote the local acts and the local musicians who play in major venues and then play smaller venues. There is a ton of great talent here in this town.
Yes. Yes, especially among the musicians. We have people who came out of the UNLV jazz program, who play in bands like Santa Fe and the Fat City Horns, David Perico, and the Raiders House Band is another one. They gig all over the place, and they find themselves in Adele's show. Lady Gaga's band is Santa Fe's band. They play out. Shania Twain has used them. Michael Bublé's used a choir assembled by Michelle Johnson, a great singer here. So when you know the city well enough and you eyeball them, this is how Adele worked. I saw a woman named Lindsay Springer in the middle of that set, and I recognized her on the cello, and I started digging in there, and they're all Vegas players. I really like doing that. I really like shining a light on the Vegas players. It's important to build that bridge.
We'll talk more about that next time you come on, all right?
I'm here.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Renee Summerhour, digital news anchor here at 7 at 7. Watch our streaming nonstop newscast immediately with your mobile phone. 7 at 7 is the new way for you to get every bit of local news you need in just 7 minutes. Breaking news, local neighborhood news, weather, and sports are just a click away. Reporters bring you all of what's happening in the Valley. From Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, YouTube, and more. Get every bit of local news you need from the RJ and LVRJ.com.
Calamity. It lurks around every corner. Or not. That's why UMC Quick Care is around every corner, with locations around the Valley. UMC Quick Care, for all your small calamities.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Event Center sits at the heart of the Las Vegas Strip. 2 floors of meeting and event space are ideal for groups and conventions. Stay in one of 200 luxurious rooms and suites. Brand your event throughout the property. Flexible event spaces make for easy planning and personalization. Take over the entire hotel with a full buyout option.
Thanks for watching Nevada Newsmakers, coming to you from the Ahern Hotel in Las Vegas. We'll see you on the next broadcast.